Yo, we listen, it's your boy here, and today what I've got for you is a review of the Monaco Grand Prix. Later on today I'm going to be reviewing the Indianapolis 500. Now if you guys want me to do more of IndyCar reviews, hit the like button below and I may or may not do it, so yeah. So without further ado, let's get into this video and we will start off in practice, because in practice we saw a couple of little incidents going on. Practice 1, nothing much really happened, to be honest, but in practice 2 a lot happened, and basically what happened was that Mary crashed in practice, just coming into the Nouvelle chicane, hit the bump where so many drivers have hit it in the past, and hit the wall, and yeah, that was it for him. Then afterwards rain came to the track, and as a result nobody went out on track. Only Alonso went out on track because he wanted to try out the wet conditions in the new McLaren car. So yeah, because Alonso did not run, because Alonso did not have any sessions in the rain in that car, so trying to get a little bit of experience, so fair enough for him. But then moving into qualifying, not much really happened. A lot of quick times were set by the two Mercedes, of course, which made them not have to run again, which was good for them. But the surprise guy that was out of Q1 was Valtteri Bottas. That's right, Valtteri Bottas, who in the last race in Spain scored a beautiful 4th place in Spain, was out of Q1. The Williams not really having a good day at Monaco, so yeah, so unfortunate for Valtteri there. Also as well, Grosjean had to take a 5-place grid penalty for the race due to a gearbox change, so I think he qualified like 8th or something like that, so I think he qualified 13th or 14th, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was outside the top 10, so yeah. And then going into Q2, we saw a couple of lockups from Nico Rosberg, and at one point Nico ran deep in the closing stages of Q2, ran deep, and as a result cost Jensen a chance of getting into Q3, McLaren Honda's first Q3 appearance, if that was going to be the case. But it wasn't due to Rosberg's little excursion at Sound of Ox, so yeah. I don't think this was in purpose, to be honest. I don't think this was a repeat of 2014, to be honest, because he was going in there at some rate. Looking from the lockups that he did, looking from the story petition that he was at, it looked clearly that he did not do it on purpose. It was really an accident, to be honest. So yeah, a mistake. So yeah, fair enough. But that put a little bit of confidence out. That put less confidence for Rosberg going into Q3, and as a result, he did the same thing again. Rosberg did the same exact thing again on his final attempt, and as a result Lewis Hamilton took pole position, his first at Monaco. A beautiful lap by Lewis Hamilton, flawless drive, no mistakes whatsoever, was completely smooth through every turn he made, and yeah, as a result got onto pole position. Behind the two Mercs were Vettel, good lap by him there to get that Ferrari, but ahead of to get that Ferrari just behind the two Mercedes. Ricciardo was in 4th, good result by him. 5th was 6th I believe was 5th I think was Kvyat, good result by him. 6th was Raikkonen, unlucky for him. Would have loved to be alongside his teammate Vettel there, but it is what it is. And yeah, that was it. So moving on into the race, before the race began, Sainz started from the pit lane because he missed the Ray bridge during qualifying, which meant he had to start from the pit lane. So unlucky for him there. I think he qualified in 10th or 11th or somewhere like that. So unlucky for him there. But at the start of the race, it was a good start from Lewis Hamilton. He made a good start, so did Rosberg. But further back, we saw Kvyat getting past his teammate Ricardo up into 4th place. A good move by Kvyat there, and yeah, as a result, Ricardo dropped to 5th place behind his teammate Kvyat. And then later on, further down and then later on, as well, we saw contact between Alonso and Hulkenberg going into Mirabeau, and Hulkenberg coming the worst of that, hitting the wall at Mirabeau, and he dropped pretty far down the field. So yeah, unlucky for him there. Also, there was contact in the foreground as well between Hulkenberg again and Massa. So yeah, Massa as well dropped well down the field. So yeah, unlucky. And really, it's just been a tough day for the Williams guys. You know, just not having good luck. You know, this weekend. Hopefully, they will next time out in Canada, especially as their car is well more thrive to straight line performance. You know, Canada will be a great place for them to score a really good result, given that their car is really good in high speed in straight line performance. So yeah, hopefully they will be good there. But then later on, we saw some contact going on between Maldonado, who was having some brake issue, and the Toro Rosso of Max Verstappen, who ran into the back of him. There was front wing damage for Max Verstappen's car. No damage for Maldonado's car, which was good for him. And as a result, yellow flags was out. But thankfully they were gone for a bit. They were gone in the second, thanks to a marshal going on the track and retrieving it, which was good to see. But later on, we also saw we also saw a thing going on during the race, and that was traffic. In particular, for Nico Rosberg and Sebastian Vettel, who got the worst of it at the beginning of the race, as a lot of traffic was holding as a lot of traffic from cars like Bottas and Perez and Verstappen and Sainz and all those kind of cars bottled up the likes of Nico Rosberg and Sebastian Vettel, who were trying to catch Lewis Hamilton. They bottled them back to about 9 seconds. So yeah, traffic really making Rosberg and Vettel's life really tricky for them during the race. So yeah. But then later on, we also saw Raikkonen going into the pits. We also saw Ricciardo going into the pits, and that allowed Raikkonen some clear space to push as hard as he can to get ahead of Ricciardo for 5th place, which he did. He did get ahead. Raikkonen did get ahead of Ricciardo and up into 5th place. A great move for the Finn in 5th place. So yeah. And then later on, we saw something. We saw some cunning thinking from Max Verstappen, and that was him trying to stay behind Sebastian Vettel, who was running in 3rd, and just because of. And by the way, Max was a lap down, so Max was trying to stay behind Vettel, so that when So that when Vettel closed up to Grosjean would have to let Vettel through, which then would probably allow Verstappen to move up into 10th place. Now it was the case. Grosjean was about to get lapped by Sebastian Vettel, and as they came out of Mirabeau, Grosjean made the call to let Vettel through, and as he was doing that, just slided in just ahead of Verstappen and made sure that Verstappen did not get ahead of Romain Grosjean. So yeah, Verstappen stayed in 11th place, did not move up into 10th. So yeah. Also as well, we saw Alonso have a 5-second penalty for that little incident at the first lap. Which he did do on his pit stops, and as a result got ahead of Felipe Nasr to stay 9th. But then sadly his race was over due to some sort of mechanical problem. So yeah, unlucky for Alonso there. His 2nd in a row and he's first for a while at Monaco, so yeah, unfortunate, but it's what it is. Hopefully he can get a better result next time out in Canada, so yeah. And then as Grosjean and Verstappen were battling really hard, really fiercely, Verstappen ran it into the back. He ran it into the back of Romain Grosjean's car. He went flying straight into the barriers out of Sandavot. It was a violent incident. Thankfully he was okay. Grosjean was okay too as well. He managed to keep going, which was good, but I think later on he retired, so yeah, unlucky for Grosjean there. But yeah, that was a mighty accident from Verstappen, probably going at 100, maybe 110 miles an hour, going into the corner there. So yeah, a very violent incident, but thankfully he was okay. And as a result, the virtual safety car, our first virtual safety car, was deployed, but it was short-lived as the real safety car got deployed seconds after the virtual safety car. And as a result, Lewis Hamilton, surprise, Lewis Hamilton pitted for a set of the Super Softs. But as he came out, shock, massive shock, as Lewis Hamilton came out behind Nico Rosberg and just behind Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton was side by side with Sebastian Vettel as Lewis came out of the pits, but Sebastian, as he hit the safety car line, was well ahead of Lewis Hamilton, so Lewis had to give the place to Sebastian Vettel there, which meant that Lewis Hamilton rejoined in third place. Wow. My thoughts on this: I don't know why Mercedes decided to call Lewis in, to be honest, but I think at the end of the day, it's racing. These type of things happen, so Lewis has got to suck it up and move on from this, you know. It was a very terrible call by Mercedes there, due to the touch and go-ness and the riskiness of the safety car and whatnot, because you know, when the safety car comes out, the field all bunches up and whatnot. So I reckon as the safety car came out and as Lewis was going into the pits, I think the gap was dropping a little bit there by like 1 or 2 seconds, which made the difference, to be honest. So yeah, unfortunate for Lewis, but sometimes in life you've got to roll the dice and see what it lands on. So yeah, unfortunate for Lewis. I think he'll be massively annoyed by that, and yeah, he'll be really annoyed with his team for that call there, because he could have easily won the Grand Prix by just staying out, and yeah, in the end he didn't. So yeah, but it wasn't over, because he still had the super softs on. He still had a fresh set of super softs, while the top two of Rosberg and Vettel had old sets of soft tyres which weren't up to temperature as well as Lewis's. So Lewis still had a chance. He still had a chance. If he could be right up close to Vettel, he could have a chance he would still had a chance of retaking the lead and reclaiming the race lead. So yeah. So as the safety car came in with a few laps to go, the race was back on. This was going to have to be Lewis's best charge that he ever made in his life. Lewis pushed as hard as he can, throw the car in all sorts of directions that he could put it on. He was pushing as hard as he can, pushing, riding some of the curves, in particular the corner just before Portier. He was pushing it as hard as he can, but sadly he could not do anything to Rosberg. Rosberg was just long gone after 2 laps, so yeah, he could not. So it was definite that Nico Rosberg was going to win this race. Sebastian Vettel, he still had a chance to get in second place. He was pushing as hard as he can, but in the end did not have enough to pass Vettel, and as a result Vettel was pulling away from Lewis Hamilton, and as a result Lewis was under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who by the way, Daniel overtook Kimi Raikkonen going into Mirabeau. A very dirty manoeuvre, I've got to say, a very aggressive move by Ricciardo on Raikkonen going into Mirabeau. I think, to be honest, I think Raikkonen had. I think it was Ricciardo's fault, to be honest, because Raikkonen was well ahead of Ricciardo, and as a result, Raikkonen had every right to take that corner ahead of Ricciardo, but Ricciardo forced his nose in. There was a little bit of contact, but thankfully that did not send Raikkonen into the wall. So thankfully Raikkonen was able to drop to 6 rather than drop into the wall, rather than drop out of the race by hitting the wall. So yeah. But still a dirty manoeuvre. I'm surprised they didn't give him a penalty, to be honest, because that was a little bit of aggressive move, to be honest. So yeah. And then after that, Danny let Daniel through, and yeah, as a result, Daniel was into 4th, and that was the reason why Daniel was all over the back of Lewis Hamilton. So yeah. And but in the end, Daniel didn't have enough to pass Lewis Hamilton, which I think if he did, would have really. I think if Ricciardo got ahead of Lewis, I think that would have really ticked Lewis off. I think he would have lost the plot if he actually got passed by Ricciardo, because you know during this season the Red Bull has been massively struggling, and to see Lewis getting passed by one of those cars would have really ticked him off, and would have probably put him over the limit in terms of how angry he was. So yeah. So thankfully that wasn't the case, and as a result, Lewis was able to finish in 3rd place. Vettel was in 2nd. Good drive by him. Good defensive driving. Good on keeping Lewis behind. But in the end, it was a great victory by Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg took the win from Sebastian Vettel. It was a very as soon as the safety car came out, Nico Rosberg completely dominated the race. He completely had that race under control after the safety car came out into the pits. And yeah, a pretty dominant drive by Nico Rosberg after the pits, after the safety car. Lewis Hamilton will be massively frustrated with that, but in the end, that's racing. Sometimes you just got to roll the dice and see what it lands on. And in the end, it did not land on his favour. In his favour, I mean. And yeah, I think he will be speaking very deeply to his team on what happened there and ways they can improve it for in the future, because they cannot allow any more of this to happen, particularly as he's leading the championship, to be honest. So yeah. But in the end, a very good win by Nico Rosberg. Completely took the advantage when took the chance when he completely took the advantage when it was there, and as a result won the race. A fantastic win by Nico Rosberg. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, later on I'm going to be reviewing the Indianapolis 500, so stay tuned for that. But for now, it's your boy Jabba Boy. I'm out. Peace.